I hate to admit it, but I'm kind of cheap. Even though I like to think of it as being frugal, I'm really kind of cheap. But what does this really have to do with stacking? And how does it impact me as a stacker? Well, I like to think about Warren Buffett's quote, price is what you pay and value is what you get. As a result, I tend to allow the market conditions to dictate what and how much I buy. And how has that worked for me? Well, I think it worked pretty well last year. My average premium cost on all of my silver purchases was just 7.5% over spot. So stay with me and I'll show you my favorite ways of being finding value and being a frugal precious metal purchaser and how I buy things as close to spot as possible. Let's talk about it. Okay, I can't promise that after this video, you'll be able to replicate what I did last year. Heck, I'm not even sure that I could actually replicate what I did last year. But what I can promise is I'll share with you some of my techniques that will help you minimize premiums and help you get the best deals. As you've heard me say before, your money is made when you buy, not when you sell. So let's start with my first place, the local coin shop. Well, duh, I know. You're thinking, duh. Obviously, the local coin shop is where you go. That's true, but I want to kind of maybe propose a little something different in terms of an approach. I want you to go to your local shop and focus on developing relationships. And I want you to have a roster of coin shops that you have relationships with. I want you to have maybe 3 or 4 where you can walk into the shop and they know your name. And when you first go in, I want you to really focus on connecting with the guys and the gals that work in that shop. And I know, yes, some of them can be very grumpy. But if you think about the kind of environment they work in, yeah, it might be a little grumpy too. Really, they're behind locked doors all day. They're always worried about someone coming in and potentially trying to rob them. And they spend most of the time by themselves, unless it's a super busy shop. Then you also realize that actually, coin shop people, they're really chatty people. You just got to get them talking on the right subject. So when you get in there, I want you to develop a relationship. I want you to kind of get a vibe, ask them what they specialize in, and really develop that relationship. Obviously, the more you buy from them, the better your rates are going to be. But that's not just the only piece here. What I always do is when I go into my shop, I go, hey, check in. And I always ask the same question. What are you trying to get rid of today? See, if you go in and you're like, hey, what's here, prices, whatever, they're going to show you whatever is out there. But when you say to them, hey, what are you trying to get rid of today? You actually force them to think a little differently. And you force them to think about, well, where is my deal? Well, what would I like to get rid of that I could get moving and get off my books that I might be willing to cut a deal on? And I've got to tell you, most of the time, I find something and there's a little bit of a discount because it's something they actually want to get rid of. So I'm not necessarily buying what I want, but I'm also meeting their need of what they want to get rid of. So I want you to think about that. Find out what each shop specializes in. For example, I have 4 main dealers that I work with. One does better with junk coins. The other does better with numismatic things and collector items. Another one has an incredible selection, but not necessarily the best prices. And then I have one who just blows gold prices out of the water. Another reason that I want you to focus on this relationship is that your LCS becomes a wonderful place to meet when you're trying to buy from a private seller. It's safe, it's secure. They have all the devices to check to make sure what you're buying is authentic. So that's another benefit. The other thing I want you to do with your LCS that will help you get better deals is I want you to visit at a specific time. Not just any specific time for your schedule, but I want you to either visit early in the morning or later in the afternoon, like 5 o'clock. The reason why you do that is because what I found is that when most people sell, they sell either first thing in the morning because they got to get the money to take care of some kind of issue, or people sell when they get off of work. And that ability to kind of be in the right place at the right time has resulted in me getting a number of incredible deals. Recently, I was hanging out at one of my LCSs and just talking, looking at stuff, not sure what I was going to do. And someone came in and bought and sold, a quarter-ounce gold harmonic for $450. And because I was there, I waited till the transaction was over. Of course, you always wait until it's over. But as soon as the transaction was over, I said, "Hey, would you be interested in selling that?" He said, "Sure." He added $25 to the price, and I jumped all over it. You see, in less than 5 minutes, my dealer made $25 for just being there. And I was able to purchase a quarter ounce with a premium of 2.83% at that time on a quarter ounce coin. It just doesn't get much better than that. And so that's why your relationship with your LCS and being there and interacting with them can be a wonderful place. This is really helpful because if you say to them, "Hey, if you get any kilo bars in and they're 250 over spot, hold it for me. I'll come in immediately and buy it from you." I've had situations where my LCS doesn't normally deal in Canadian junk silver, but they got their hands on a bunch of it because they knew I would buy it. And they knew that I didn't care if it was Canadian 80% versus US constitutional 90%. They know that anything at spot or close to spot is what I'm going to buy. And in fact, they actually sold it to me at melt. So that was a great deal. So I want you to really focus on finding your right LCS, work on developing a good, strong relationship with them, and it will pay dividends. You will find better deals, and they will give you better deals because of their relationship with you. The second place I want you to think about are private purchases. Again, that's not a surprise. The surprise isn't that I'm suggesting it. The surprise, hopefully, is how you think about these private deals. So we all know that if you can purchase from someone, especially if they are in need of a quick turnaround, you can get some phenomenal deals. My absolute best purchases over the last few years have been from private sellers. And while first and foremost, the most important thing is doing this safely, I always focus on the seller's experience. I work around their time. I work around their location. I make sure everything is as easy and smooth as possible for them. I want their experience of selling with me to be pleasurable, to be a delight, something that they truly enjoy. Now, often we meet at a LCS, usually one that I've worked with, but other than that, I am all about the seller. And that's worked really well for me. Over the last year, I purchased more than 200 ounces of silver and 2 ounces of gold from 2 private sellers that I work with. And all of those purchases were at spot. And it worked because the very first time they dealt with me, it was simple, easy, and no drama for them. And every time you buy from a private seller, I want you to be thinking about this probably isn't their only piece of gold or silver that they're selling. And so if they have to liquidate for any reason, I want to be the person that they think about. I want to be the person that they call. In fact, just 2 days ago, over the weekend on Saturday, I got a call from one of my private sellers. "Hey, I've got a 10 ounce RCM bar. I want $280 for it." Deal. When do you want me to meet you? Where do you want me to meet you? And just like that, we hooked up and I was able to buy this and spot at the point was $25.95. So it was a 7.8% premium. Not phenomenal, but not bad at all. And normally this is something that he would sell to me at spot, but it's an RCM bar. He felt like it was worth a little more. Maybe he needed a few extra bucks. I don't know. What I didn't do was haggle with him or try to get a price break. I never do that. If I'm already getting a great deal, I'm going to shut up and take it. And so I want you to think about how you can work with your private sellers to make sure that you make it a great experience for them so that they think about you when it's time to sell again. They also are probably going to have people that they know that may need to sell. So that can be a wonderful referral network for you. Moving on to number 3. All right, this one's going to be a little tough for my younger folks, but I want you to think about joining a coin club. I know coin clubs typically run towards a slightly older demographic, but I got to tell you, I have joined a coin club. I joined it a while ago. One, the people there are super nice, very knowledgeable, very willing to share their information. And they're actually a great place for private purchases. See, coin clubs have people that have been stacking for years, collecting for years, and they have tons of stuff. And you have people in there that have been buying silver when it was $5 an ounce. And so it becomes a great place for you because when they get ready to liquidate a little bit, who are they going to go to first? They're coin club people. Why? Because it's easy. They're in the club. It's also a wonderful place to buy junk silver because many of these folks have been collecting just pounds and pounds of constitutional silver because it was so cheap until recently. And so the club becomes a great place for you to pick up anything from junk to even some of the numismatic items because these folks are collectors and they have things and they always cut their coin club members a good deal. I know it sounds weird, but I'm going to encourage you to think about that. Number 4, online dealers. Now, I prefer my local coin shop. I absolutely only want to buy from my coin shop. But I also have a responsibility to make sure that I can get as much silver as my money allows. And so we can't ignore online dealers because sometimes they do some amazing deals. Just 2 or 3 weeks ago, Bullion Max was doing a deal where you could buy a 10-ounce bar for a spot for any new customers. Now they only had like 30 or 40, so I missed it. But those are wonderful kind of deals. And while I would prefer to spend my money at the LCS, I don't know if anyone can be mad at me for being able to buy anything at spot if I buy it online. Now, buying online does require a little bit of patience. So you got to keep a little powder, as they say, because you never know when a deal is going to come up. I'm going to suggest that you always start at one place. This site is findbullionprices.com. Best place to start. Gives you a great overview of what's out on the market and what's going on. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to create a separate email account. And then I want you to go to all the main online dealers and sign up for their subscription list. What you'll find is some will offer you a deal right then and there on the spot. And what you'll find is that when they do these flash deals and member-only deals, you're going to be there and you're going to be in the know. And so it's important to get a separate email account so that you're not getting bombarded with emails, but sign up everywhere and just every day, I just scan my email to see if there's a great deal out there. What it also does is it keeps me in tune with the market so I know what a great deal is. So 50 cents off, not that much, right? But it depends on what's 50 cents off of. So as you see more of these deals, you'll start to be able to diagnose what's a good deal a lot faster and make great purchases. For example, my general rule is If there's a deal for $2 over spot, I'm buying it. Almost automatic buy. And, a lot of times I can find kilos for that price, which unfortunately my LCS cannot compete with. All right, number 5, coin shows. Now, coin shows, they're not the haven that they used to be. They used to be a great place to get phenomenal deals, but you can still get great deals. What I found is you need to have a better strategy when you go to the coin show. And actually, I have an upcoming video that's going to go through my complete strategy that I use to get the best deal at coin shows. And here are a couple of the quick highlights. One, I want you to always go to the coin show on the very first day. The reason why is there are a lot of dealers that will have just blowout specials and deals, and it only takes 1 or 2 people to see those things and they jump all over it. For example, I've been to a couple of coin shows where I found dealers doing American Silver Eagles for only $4 over spot. Now, I don't love $4 over spot, but I don't mind $4 over spot for an American Silver Eagle because the premium right now, anywhere from $9 to $12. So I saw those, I jumped all over them. The other thing is, just like at your local coin shop, I want you to try to develop relationships with some of these dealers. You never know if that dealer becomes someone you start working with in the future. And it's always great to have a roster of places you can call around and talk to get prices or get an idea of what deals are out there. You do all that on the first day, and you always attend the last day, preferably in the morning, because afternoon they tend to disappear. But you do it in the morning on the last day because I have found they kind of fall into 2 categories. Either they've sold all that they wanted to sell so they can be a little more flexible with price, or they haven't sold enough and they're dying for a deal, so they'll be a little more flexible with price. So I want you to think about getting out to some of these coin shows. They're phenomenal. They're fun. Great way to meet people. You learn a lot. Great raffles. So I want you to also utilize coin shows as a great place. A lot of times you can do some of these transactions if you're in a state that requires taxes. A lot of times you can do it without taxes, which is always a great saving as well. Final word of caution as we start to wrap this up. I've left off some places like eBay and other things like that, frankly, because there really should be a separate video. And you can definitely let me know in the comments if you want me to cover this topic. Those things are their own kind of headache. So I know that there are other ways, but these, for me, are my top 5 ways that I was able to purchase all of my silver and all my gold last year, with my silver premium being 7.5%, and my overall premium on gold was just under 3%. And that includes buying a lot of fractionals. So please share in the comment your response to any of these questions I have for you. How have you gotten your best deals? How do you define a great deal? Is that by discount? Is that about the amount you pay over spot? Is it by percentage over spot? Is it by value? Share your thoughts. And while I'm asking you to do that, could you also hit the like button and subscribe so Stackers University can get to more people? And it will make sure that you don't miss a single video. This will be greatly appreciated. And as we always end, always stack smarter and never stop learning. Thank you for your time.